Good morning. Let's get the screen sorted out. Right, one last thing.
I don't wanna do it no more. I don't wanna do it no more. Got me crying.
All right, Jeffrey, how you doing? So I'll play a McRocken and Hutch track to warm up on for a change. Bring this over here. Right there, isn't it? I'm literally frozen to the fretboard. I'm having to leave the heater on now. Better now, that's good. That's very good. So I've got a new lick to show everyone. That's what I thought I'd start with, that I just kind of stumbled upon yesterday. which is quite relevant to something I'm chewing away at now. So I've become, I'll get a thought in my head and it becomes a slight interest, and then the thought solidifies, and then I become obsessed with it. So I'm starting to look at Frank Gambale stuff, and I do the economy picking thing, but I suppose in a rock kind of way. And I'm always pulling stuff from fusions. The latest thing's been dipping my toe into, I suppose you'd call it quartal harmony, but doing fourths. So I do quite a bit of that now, but playing lots of kind of fourths in solos. So I'm just, which part of the UK? I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne. Get my stool up. Yeah, Newcastle. Place to be. Get my mic sorted. Right there. That's better, isn't it? So, top tip, I only learnt that arpeggio yesterday, believe it or not. Well, just the night before yesterday. And a cool thing to do is, so I practiced it on and off during the day, little micro practices. And before, one of the really effective things I find is just doing a 5-minute practice before you go to bed, and then doing the thing when you get up. So I got up this morning before the stream, literally a couple of minutes, just going through it, and it's kind of there now, which is cool. But I've got a new one. A new one I'm doing. Oh, can I remember it? I've got nearly 2 positions here. That was it. So that's what I'm starting to kind of get into, is 3 strings with a roll. But it's a tricky one to do, and it's not quite into my playing. So that's what I'm going to be working on today, see how far I get with that. But I will show everybody the lick, so they can practice it in a bit. Well, so this is the lick in question. Actually, I picked it up from, I think it's a Dweezil Zappa thing. So I couldn't fully make out what he was doing, but it's off a Rick Beardo interview. Even that sounds pretty cool. But I'm just going through that phase where my brain's not Actually, you've hit it on the head. Sounds like a Mackem, Jeff. That's true, because I am originally from Sunderland. Well done. Well spotted, hippie. Very good. Oh, just in time, Enzo. So you're a bit of a Frank and Barley fan, so you'll appreciate these kind of licks. All right. All right, here we go then. So, what I'm doing, E minor pentatonic. It's the stretch from the 17th to the 12th fret, and a pull off. And then what I'm doing is this quartal thing. So we bar with the third finger, and then we're just doing an upstroke across 15, 15 with your third finger to the second finger on the third string. So that's what you should have. Quite a nice phrase, isn't it? Okay, next bit. And you just repeat that sequence. So it's like on the second string, it's like 17, 12, and then third finger on 15. But this time we're going to bar second finger across the third and fourth strings. That is quite awkward. So that would be a micro practice for me. And that's what I like to do, is just have a little bit of a noodle. And then try and fit it in. Okay. All right, you're back from your trip, which is good, which I think I mentioned that, Enzo. You're trying to scroll because your head's... I'm on this camera zoom. There you go. You can see me now. So just fourths. I mean, technically, yeah, it's just fourths, isn't it? So and major seconds. So we've got fourth, 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 fourth. That's all fourths as well. But we've got them because we're following the pentatonic scale. The next one is slightly different, isn't it? So it's like a major third. So we've got fourth finger on the 16th fret now, pulling to the 12th. And then we're barring across all three strings. And I think that's, yeah, it's going to be the second finger we're going to use on this. So that's where, I think this is where it gets awkward, but in a different way. Because it's getting that clean when you've got like a lot of gain. And not to sound like annoying to listen to, I know. So you just gotta roll with that finger. And then we've got 4th finger back on the 15th. Pulling off to the 12th. And then we're going to bar. And then we're rolling from the 14th fret on the 4th string to the 5th string. And then 3rd finger on the G. Sweet little major 6-star arpeggio going there. Oops. And that's it. I mean, in essence, the chordal harmony thing, in my limited knowledge, is essentially just playing fourths, isn't it? Instead of playing thirds on things, you're playing fourths. So, but I just think they sound really good, so I'll use them like in the in that pentatonic context. Which is cool. So I use them a lot there. Sort of doing like a little that kind of thing. But I'm not sure how I feel about that at the minute, to be fair. Because I see a lot of players doing that one. But it's like all that kind of wide interval stuff I'm really into. So if you mix it up with stuff that's fifths, and stuff that isn't, and thirds, and then a lick like that, which is fourths. It's quite a nice sound, isn't it? And of course, there's other ways to access. All right, there, Sean. Oh, you have to watch back the just before this bit. I've just been doing like a little pentatonic lick, but you might be able to pick bits of it up. So I'm just talking about almost chordal harmony things, okay, to play on guitar. And I think the theme's now going into, because I haven't planned today at all, so I think the theme's going into sort of wide interval stuff. And improvisation and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Because I do like my stretchy kind of things, you know, and introducing them where I can. I mean, there's another sort of little go-to lick where you can just use something small, and use like basically a minor. I'm almost using a minor 9 arpeggio shape, but phrasing it like you would phrase a pentatonic thing, you know. So like for something like that, what I'm doing is I'm using this E minor, first finger's on the 7th fret, 2nd string, and then I'm barring. It's just that nice little jump up, gets people's attention. And like there, because I'm using this E minor 9, 7 arpeggio shape, I'm putting that in as a little phrase. or whatever you want, and then stick a minor triad in. Another little tip, which I'm trying to train my brain to do more, is using this sort of shape on those minor triads, because it frees up your forefinger to do other things. So I'll either do that. That's more into my muscle memory than the other one at the minute. Oops. But you can see it lines me up for something like that, rather than having to do that movement. That's a lot easier because all your fingers are ready to go, really. So you can start kind of like, I'm just making that up now. You can just start integrating all these ideas together, and it sounds pretty cool. Any backing track, it's fully compatible. Right, I'll see what's on here. I think yesterday's track's on here. So, oh no, that's not it. We'll do something. Something like that, right? Bang anything down. Oh, that's my click gone. Two seconds. Okay. Probably too distracting for what I'm wanting. That's better, isn't it? Alright. Got something to play over. Sounding quite good. So that's using that minor 7 arpeggio idea. I'll try and talk through it. So that's interesting. That's like stacking thirds. Regular blues thing. Fourths. Bluesy kind of fourths thing. Fifths. Vaguely. And again, that's like fourths, isn't it? The kind of mix-up pentatonic thing. So there's a few. Hi evening. Hi Mac. Alright, I'll show the chords. What a full exercise could you apply to all that would clean it up? Something that we can put in our routine. Yeah, okay. There's a number of things. So, if we're going to kind of more the advanced left-hand muting techniques, because although there's going to be muting involved in all of this, there's a couple of things, exercises we can do there. Right, I just don't have the time for tabs. That would be a great thing. Right, I've been talking about it. The missus has been saying like, oh, you should do. I should do some sort of like downloadable course, really, basically on this, sort of based on aspects of my style, because I've probably accumulated enough material to kind of like do like at least an hour and a bit video of my approach. I am thinking about that. It's something I might record in the holidays because it's relatively easy to do. I can just sit here and do it, can't I? It doesn't have to be clever editing. Nobody wants to see my face, so I just need to see the guitar and my fingers. But I'm thinking about doing something like based on all the 313 stuff that I do on Pentatonics. That's what it'll be. And that would have tabs. I would do that properly. Sounds very nice, mellow, but articulate. Very interesting to listen to, yeah. So the reason, like, how I actually get that articulation is I'll take something. So let's say, like this bit of the pentatonic scale. So if I do my usual 3-1-3 thing, I mean, where this comes from. So if you think of like your pentatonic 2 notes, that forces you to articulate in a particular way because of the limitations you've got. Okay. And then if you put like a 3-1-3, that now also gives you a different set of limitations, you know? And you can combine them. So that's the trick, is kind of getting them all mixed together. It's the hardest bit, and getting it to sound that. So you're putting basically different sets of limitations side by side to create something that's articulate. Yeah. God, it's freezing in here. Right. So if we take the 3-1-3, and then we think about making it into like one of those arpeggios, we've got a different set of articulation now as well, a different set of limitations. And then the idea is what I'll do is I'll just say, well, that's my only limitations. Now I've got to work with it. Okay, so you put your backing track on. Okay. It's not the most inspiring thing, but you can start then seeing where you want to bring other things in. So it's kind of messing with those limitations, because as I say, limitations is where the artist lives. Oh, there's Perplexity Morning. Now, anybody who's on here not subscribed, do subscribe. I'm giving away all my music stuff, all my tutoring things, teaching things. My fortune said is when you're comfortable, you can do, and yeah, that's totally right. And actually, my whole style of playing, apart from like being absolutely frozen in here, is all to do with being relaxed. You can't do it like in any other state. You just gotta be. So. An improvising exercise is to take ideas, limitations, and improvise with them, and then add other things in, you know. So you could take, just like, say, the minor 7 arpeggio over here that I've got. So, you know, and I've built layers of it, so... Starting to cheat now. Now we can start adding in the 9th. The 11th. So you're thinking of one layer and then you're adding other layers in to develop the idea. So that's another way I think about it. But actually, the advantage of doing it this way is we've got an arpeggio, right? Okay. But effectively what we're doing is we're not playing it up and down like a shred monster. We're actually trying to make something musical out of it. I mean, obviously the shred thing's there, isn't it? If we want it. So that's like one idea. So that's like a little thinky improvisational exercise. And I'll come to something mechanical in a minute that'll just upset everybody. When you say 3-1-3, you mean 3 notes per string, then 1 note on the next string. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then you just learn all your shapes up the fretboard. And then you can do like, especially if you're economy picking, you can do like ridiculous stuff with that. So it's well worth doing. It's just a little bit of a, you got to put the time in, haven't you? So I think an exercise for me, because when I started doing all of this, I realised how not great my coordination was with doing this thing. So there was a few exercises. I've just remembered one of them now. Very simple. And we'll develop this, right? So usually you want to practice this clean and distorted, right? And unplugged. But distortion is like practicing something like this with the sound you're going to use is really important because, you know, when you put gain on something like this, like every like tiny little nuance is going to be amplified and shoved in your face. So we need to have clean, you know, separation between notes. And we need to make sure like all of our fingers are up to fitness, right? So if we take this part, so you know the geography of this. If we take this part of the minor pentatonic scale, E minor, and we make it 3-1-3. So I've got 1, 3, 4. Using my second finger there as 2, and then I've got 1, 3, 4 here on the third string. And then we've got 1 with the third finger, and then I've got 1, 3, 4. So it's a fairly accessible pattern, that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we'll just take part of that. And so where the problems are going to happen is where you're crossing strings, especially between fingers 4 and 3. So this is a little micro practice exercise, just doing these 2 notes. Now what I want to make sure that we're doing is when one finger's playing and then you swap the notes around, okay, that the note that you were playing stops and the other one starts, okay? So what I tend to do is I think of listening in between the notes, right? I'm listening between the notes. And I also think in my head, as we respond very well to verbal commands, is I think off when the note should be off. 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 And then the other thing you can do, because the tone's sort of going in my hand here, is just slight little adjustments of where your finger's hitting on the fret and the string can change the whole tone of this as well. Okay. So muting wise, what's happening here is this hand is muting all the lower strings. And actually this first finger does a little bit of cheeky muting as well. And then we'll extend that, right? So next bit is we're going to add our first finger in. So we have this part of the scale. And that's going to be sort of the area of this that's going to give us the most problems. And then within that, you've got lots of other micro practices. Now, micro practices are a great example of purposeful and deliberate practice. If we were purposefully practicing this, we would just be going right over and then sometimes it would be like really good. And you're like, wow, did you hear that? That was amazing, I did it. But you'd have no it just happened, everything aligned, and you've got no idea why. And then the rest of it's really crap. You go, I'm having a bad day playing today. We're talking about scientific consistency is what we want. And what that means is we do deliberate practice. And that's why I've got these set of very small micro practice exercises that allow me and you to deliberately practice an area where problems are. Now, obviously, your problems might be different, okay? But you can take this framework and idea to then apply to things that you find difficult in your playing. So that's the bit where we need it clean. And honestly, even this with me today, it's still a work in progress. I'm still doing it. I still have to, it's a bit like maintaining a car. Like sometimes the technique goes a little bit, or it gets a little bit noisy and you don't realise, and you have to go in and kind of tidy it up a little bit. Or like having your guitar set up, you don't realise it's like playing crap to a certain point, and then it's like, oh, I need to get this set up now. Same with your technique, it'll kind of, if there's certain aspects you don't give attention to, it'll go. So that's one practice. That's another. And that. And you could even practice the string skip, which I've just thought of now. So that's a really hard one, because what you got to do here is the first finger you have to slide it so it actually mutes the second finger, the second string. So there's a micro practice. Just practicing the first finger landing on the first string, making a nice tone, and muting the second string. And as you can hear, it sounds good. It sounds very clean. And that's just hammers only. Now, if you had to pick every note, the muting would still be the same. You'd still kind of have all your cautionary muting as well. Okay. Right. I thought so. Thanks. Frank Sapper did that a bit. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was just watching some Dweezil stuff because I'm like obviously the fourths and fifths, and yeah, it's that awkward. A lot of that was in his playing. It sounds really good, but really difficult. Already the three give me some wicked ideas. Yeah. So like there, I'm really focusing on what's happening between the notes. And another really cool way to practice these things is just in slow motion. Just practicing soloing and improvising really slow. And trying to control noise, you know, that way. And it's also a great way to find licks and connect shapes, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Any questions? Enzo usually has a question. Just a reminder for anybody watching, do subscribe. Yeah, you're watching and you like this, and you find it interesting, then do hit the like and subscribe. I think the other interesting thing for me is that, you know, I'm trying to develop a style out of sort of, you know, I'm known for the legato, and then harmonically I'm trying to use the wider intervals, the fourth intervals, as well as a sort of defining part of my playing. And I don't think you need that many aspects to like then sort of come up with something that you use as part of your unique identity. Okay. I'm assuming everybody's gone quiet because they're lost in 313 land now. So another cool thing to practice, I think, is just stuff that repeats over octaves. I think that's like a cool thing to do, because it gives you another sort of visual framework to work off. Like, you could take something, well, like this one, which I play quite a bit, and this is just like a repetitive, like, octave repeat pentatonic scale. And all that's happening here is you can just add sequences to it. But you can also apply the arpeggio thing to it, so... and start connecting that. Sticking to the guitar here. So there's another idea. So it's like, the possibilities are pretty endless. It's like, just what can you be bothered to practice, really? And the three ways I would practice that is hammers only. Economy picked, sweep picked. And hybrid. So there's like three different sort of hand articulations you can use as well, just to keep all of your options open. Okay. Any questions? Do I have any questions at all? Got another 30 minutes to go here. Right, I'll stick some drums in. let a bit of steam off. Right, can you show us some harmonics? Ooh. No. Well, there's kind of harmonic tapping, isn't there? But I don't really do like a lot of harmonics. I mean, so it's not like something that's massively in my playing. Apart from the usual kind of cliches, but I don't really do a lot of it. Good point. I've overlooked harmonics. Ask me next week, Jeffrey. Coffee time. So, sorry, can't accommodate. I've overlooked harmonics. Apart from like, yeah, the cliched squealy kind of stuff with a whammy bar and, you know. But in terms of like, you know, being clever and doing a whole piece on harmonics, which would be nice, no idea. All right. So, apart from that, any questions that I can maybe answer, preferably based on what bits and bobs I've been talking about today. So next week there will be, I'll be continuing into the guitar world, but at some point, I'm going to be we're going to spend some time in the studio actually making some music. So I'll talk about the coaching and, you know, starting and finishing tracks and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be in here probably focusing in. The next session will be Monday, but I might change the schedule a little bit, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to do a Monday, make some content on the Tuesday, and then stream on a Wednesday evening, so I catch some more people. And then there'll be a Thursday morning, maybe a Friday morning, and then a Saturday evening, something like that. I'm just changing the schedule about a little bit, so I reach more, because it's a bit of a funny time. But I don't mind doing the morning streams, because like this whole streaming thing is part of my learning as well, you know, getting comfortable talking to people, sitting in front of a camera, thinking of content on the fly, just doing random crazy stuff and feeling cool about it. Recommended licks for practicing 3-1-3. Think of something. So, like, I've been practicing. Something like that. So, what am I doing? It's economy picking. We've got basically 3-1-3 position in position 1, starting on the 3rd string, and we're just literally playing up strings 3, 2, and 1. So, in other words, we're going 1st finger, 2nd, 4th, 3rd finger, draw 1, and we've got that shape. And we're just playing up that. And then we come down to here. So that takes a bit of picking control. Because what's going to happen is you got to do a string skip to that, to the 1st finger on the 12th fret. So how fast you can play this is governed by how quick you can do that string skip, which, just to add to the problems of this, is an inside motion. When we get to this, we just come down the rest of that sequence, so... And then we'll start the whole thing again, so... And you can even put a on the end of it. So that's like a picking one you can do. And then obviously you can do this with legato. And then we're going to apply it to the rest of it, so you can just repeat that sequence descending. Either picking or legato. Okay. Alright, I'll just pick some of these up. Yeah, so the next session will be Monday, and so... When you studied classical guitar, did you study sight reading? Yes, I did. My sight reading's awful though. I've never had to be in a reading situation since then. I also studied classical music when I went to it'd be A levels here. So I don't know what it would be in America. But at the start of doing your uni, I did a bit of classical as well. But I wanted to rock. Slow it down. Okay. Lick one. Repeat. Lick two. So that's the thing with the whole economy picking, is you got to get comfortable with the inside, outside motion. In fact, Ben Eller had a really good. So I was trying to get ideas on this. He has a really good, just a recent video on this, and it was just a simple little exercise where you go do a speed burst. And that's for alternate picking, but what it does is it flips your picking round to inside motion and outside motion. So check that video out because it's really good. So 12, 14, 16 on the G string. Yeah, so you're following a E minor pentatonic. I really struggle with that playing it descending. Anyway. 15 on the B string, yeah, so you're using the pentatonic. That's correct. Yeah, we've got that. It's a Petrucci lick, is it? There we go. Oh. Forgetting all my chromatic stuff. Yeah, Uncle Ben has some very good stuff, doesn't he? I mean, I'm not a big watcher of his things, but what I have seen is being he does a really thorough job. I mean, he did this picking thing; it was really good. Like an exercise like that, it's great for me because I'll just use too much economy picking and then my outside motion turns to crap, you know? And I lose the sort of Paul Gilbertness about my playing. I miss playing with people in person. Thank you for this. Well, I get to play with people like music all day long. So I'm sort of lucky in that respect. It's my main method of communication, to be fair. I should be more articulate than I am. Sounded like Layla because Layla's on the pentatonic scale, isn't it? Oof. Got a copyright strike there. I suppose that's the other good thing about using all my wide interval stuff is I'm less likely to get a copyright strike for my solos. All right. So, anybody want to know anything else, especially about what we've done today? I mean, we've covered loads, haven't we? When I think about it, stacking thirds, stacking fourths, briefly touched on fifths. You know, it's like the Steve Vai thing, isn't it? Pentatonic scales, we've done a bit of that. 3-1-3, doing fourths on that stuff. What else have we done? Done loads. Very good. But is there more? We've still got 10 minutes to go. But one thing I will say, like next week, I want to get into the as much as I love playing guitar at the minute, I would like to get into the music production side of things. Great stream. I have something cool to try and experiment with this weekend. Yeah. So, love your tone and new guitars, by the way. Thank you. I should do that more of that 7-string, but it beats me, honestly. Good for riffing on though. But anything else, I'm just like a mess. But anyway, so one thing that's important is obviously there's all this new information out, and there's a lot of it. And one thing you can find is you get overwhelmed. So it's best to just pick one very small thing, especially, and then use that as a micro practice. So, like, for example, all of yesterday is like the one new thing, which led on to something else, but the one new thing for the, during the day that I had to just, like, every time I pick a guitar up to play was just that Frank and Barley arpeggio. Okay, and that was what I had to practice. That was my goal. All right. Today, from last night, I've got the Dweezil Zappa thing. And I'm going to do 2 positions. And what I want to do is get that fluent, okay? Get that under my fingers today. And if I can, try and start dropping it into improvisations. So it's a very clear target and like a very, there's a clear aim there of what I'm doing today with my guitar. And then the thing is like, I'm going to try and have this sorted by the end of the day. So it's a mission. So setting an aim that's small and doing it. So now I've said that, we've got 10 minutes, right? Who wants to be held accountable? And put something in the chat that they want me to hold them accountable for. And I'll check on their progress on Monday. Who dares? And it can be as small as you want. But I'd like to see what your goal is. What's the aim? So I've got mine. Mine's the Dweezil Zappa. And I'm going to do 2 positions. So very measurable. That's it, isn't it? Technically that's the easier position, but it's the one I mess up more. So that's what I'm going to be doing. There'll be lots of micro practices, especially rolling. Rolling the second and third fingers. So it's like, how many of those can you do in 10 seconds, 30 seconds? Anybody want to be held accountable? Well, Enzo. Oh, where's my thing gone? Right, Enzo, this is the exact time you should commit to something to this, because it can be as small a thing as you want. It doesn't have to be big. This is the whole thing. This is. Oh, I wish we had a whole stream on this now. I'll have to now do a stream on Saturday, won't I? Enzo, you've triggered me. So, Enzo, what you want to think about, right, is you've had a few days off. What's the least amount of things you can do? Because this is the way you're going to get back into your playing, you know? You have to break things down into small chunks, don't you? So, for example, it doesn't have to be something I've shown you. It could be anything, okay? No, you don't have to. You don't have to tag me your progress. You don't have to send a video or anything like that. You just have to, because I trust everybody. I just want you to give me what it is the goal that you're wanting to achieve by Monday. So Enzo, for you, if it was all right, if like say you were thinking, I really want to do the 3-1-3 thing. Okay, but that's too much. I must break it down. You can do the micro exercises. So to get string, for example, getting the string transitions between 3 and 2 clean, we're using the 4th and 3rd fingers. You see, it's measurable. I know it potentially takes the enjoyment out of it, but these are only micro practices. It's not all of your musical life. You can play a guitar, you can noodle, you can jam, you can do all these things. But every now and then, what you're going to do, I've got 30 seconds, or, you're being nagged by the missus or whatever. You can just, whilst they're on, telling you what to do with your life, you can do a few little repetitions, That's the thing. So if you were to do, say, the Dweezil Zappa pentatonic exercise, for me, like the smallest chunk would be getting that clean. But actually, I'll go to one of the problem areas. Like, this is a tricky bit here. So I'm just going to practice that round. And then I might expand on it. I might go, well, and practice those bits, but it's like you can get a lot of repetitions. Like in that, can't you? All right, look. Gilberto's here. Hi, Gilberto. How you doing? Greetings. Great to see you. I found the crux of that 3-1-3 for me is the pinky on the G string, 16th fret on the B. I keep wanting to use a different finger, but it's more ergonomic the other way. Hold on, I'm thinking. All right, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, the thing, this is the other thing that reminds me. It's like when we get into the 3-1-3 stuff, you got to use all your fingers. So I'm wondering, maybe if we have a finger deficit there. So we have to really, to get it to work. I mean, you could do it that way. It'd be extremely awkward. Having said that, I know Tom Quayle uses that kind of fingering now and then. But to me, that's the sensible way of doing it. Because what you got to think about is, you're not just going to be playing that. You're going to be jumping off that and going into other sequences and arpeggios and things. So you need to have all your fingers available because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a few ideas of different combinations of things. So you got to be thinking about that. All right, yeah. So I know I'm keen. I know I'm keen on teaching people, but I'm not going to be teaching other people's solos because I never ever learned people's solos. I'll hear bits like fives that Guthrie Govan's doing, and I'll take a sequence and then I'll try and apply it and use that as inspiration for my own thing. Everything I do is just, I'm all about uncertainty, creativity, finding the artist, all of those sort of things. So I don't feel like, I used to learn solos when I was a kid, but I'm not, unless it's something I want because I want to put it in my style, then I'll go get it, but I'll not learn a full solo or anything. Yes, your way is more elegant, definitely more ergonomical work on it, yeah. So it's a good thing. But if you want like a specific thing, I mean, like, so there might, I mean, I don't know, hippie, I mean, there might be something where you need to practice your fourth finger movement between your fourth and your third finger and fourth and your second finger. So, there's plenty of that kind of going on with these 3-1-3 pentatonic scales. So it's a good way to like learn a different voicing for a pentatonic scale, a different set of ideas to improvise with, and also build the coordination and strengthen your fingers. So it's kind of, it's all good. Right, so Enzo. No, I'll give it a try. Right, cool. As a goal. Cool, no, I'll give it a try. As a goal. Right, okay, so you're going to work on 5. Right, cool. No, I'm thinking on waves. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Brian sounds very impressive. Cool. So I think that's us coming to a close for today. I think it's time for my walk in the park. And as usual, being great, I can confirm that there is going to be some shredding happening on Saturday evening with me and Thomas. And I think there's a guitar competition as well, which is going to be exciting. I want to suggest something. Can I do with those modes? Yes, you can. Yes, suggest something, Brian. Do you want to suggest something before I go? Would be great. So I want to know. Oh, like with the mode. Ah, right, yeah. I'm suggesting something I can do with those modes. Sorry, I missed what it was, Brian. Beg your pardon. Oh, right. Here. I want to be held accountable. I have no gigs this weekend, and therefore I should take advantage of the extra time. I've been doing all the modes using 3 notes per string scales like you recommended. Brilliant. Okay. Now, what you could do, Brian, as well, is you could have a look at parts of these. You can have a look at the scale, which contains the major scale, which contains all the modes, and you could even apply 3-1-3 stuff to that. Okay, so for example, you could have, say, in this first position. Oops. They're all over the place, yeah? So there's like, the sequence to be had there. Okay. I hope that clarifies what you're saying. So it's a good way of visualizing things. So yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah, and I think that's me done for this morning's live. Everybody have a great weekend. I'll check in with everybody and hold you accountable, see what your progress is on Monday, and hopefully see you all on McRockin's channel on Saturday for some serious shredding, I hope. Okay, bye everybody.